Marc Lemerand is the longtime head coach of the Hillsdale Hornet football team. He's one of the most successful high school football coaches in the state of Michigan, and his Hornets are getting ready to kickstart the 2015 season. And, Marc, thanks for making the time for us tonight.
Oh, no problem, Andy. I appreciate doing it.
Before we get started talking a little bit about your team, talk about what you're playing for this week against the Comets. You and Jonesville have entered into a cool arrangement.
You know, I talked with Joe about this, about making this a fundraiser between our two teams, and each host team gets to choose their own charity. And this year, with us hosting the game, we're donating, our kids have raised money, and Jonesville kids have raised money. We're donating money to the Molly McNew Glitter Foundation. Molly was a young girl who tragically passed away about 2012, and her family has started a foundation to donate money to Camp Courage to help kids deal with losses in their family.
That's an awesome gesture, and that'll be happening Friday night. Will people have an opportunity to make a donation during the game?
I'm sure that if they need to make a donation to get a hold of McNews, that'd be available.
Awesome. You take a little look at your season coming up, and before we do that, I had a couple of questions about some of the rule changes, just coaching questions. I think this is your second year with the new practice rules from the state of Michigan in terms of what you can do at practice and all the rest of it. And one of the big rules is that you can have only 2 practices with contact during the 4-day practice week. How has that affected you guys? Were you contacting more than that before, or has it really not made a big difference for your program?
It didn't change us at all.
Okay.
Monday and Thursday were non-contact for us, so it's kept our schedule the same.
What do you think about those rules? Should the state, you think the MHSAA is right to be sort of dictating what you guys can do at practice, or do you think it's fine?
You know, I think anything that goes to the safety of the kids is important. I think that's a good rule. I don't have any problems with that at all. So it's going to be tough to monitor if someone's doing it. It's self-monitoring, but I think it's a good rule.
What about the preseason practice rules? You can only have the longest session you can have is 3 hours, and then no more than 5 hours in one day. You guys go to Camp Custer, you got them for 24 hours. You can only practice for 5 hours. Now, you can do chalk talk, you can do film and the rest of it, but actual on-field practice time, has that affected what you guys do in terms of Camp Custer and all the rest of it?
No, at Fort Custer we have our morning practice. We can still condition and
Right.
do those things, but you know, we have our morning practice and our evening practice. We'll have some walkthroughs on the field during the afternoon sessions, but in terms of the practice times, we keep it to 5 hours.
So it hasn't really made a huge impact with your program. 14 years, I got my show prep this morning from Martin. Is that right, 14 straight years in the playoffs?
I believe so.
That's amazing. Teams scrap and scrape to just try to get in 1 year, and to do that 14 years, I know you don't take that for granted, but that's a heck of an accomplishment. We've talked about this before. Does each team coming in, are they cognizant of that? Is that something that's in the back of their mind that you've got that streak going?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's one, though, you can live off that tradition or add to it. And if you live off it, there's a chance that you're not going to add to that and you cannot make it. But each team has to step up and work hard and to achieve their goals. And, you know, this team has set some high goals for themselves. Yeah,
because having made it 14 years guarantees you nothing for the upcoming year. You've got to do it all over again, and I know your team's going to be working at that. You were 8-3 last year. Obviously, you lose to Lumen Christi up there in the playoff game. I haven't talked to you really much since that game. That was an entertaining football game. I mean, I could tell your plan, and you guys had a sound scheme for that matchup, and a couple of plays, and you're right in that one.
Yeah, you know, it was a big game atmosphere. We started off, I think we spotted them 14 early. Had we not done that, had the lead at halftime, might have been a different ball game. But, you know, our kids fought back last year, got it to 19-17 at half, and in the second half, you know, Kari kind of took over.
Don't you play high school football to play on that stage, though, and for that opportunity? I mean, a packed stadium up there in Jackson, you're taking on a kid who's going to be wearing the green and white at Michigan State. I mean, what an awesome opportunity for your kids.
Absolutely. I mean, that's you play to compete at the highest level for where you're at. And the high school kids trying to win your league championships, trying to make the playoffs, trying to win in the playoffs. Those are all things that are important. And the further you go, the bigger the stage. And that's an opportunity for our kids to go out and to showcase what they can do.
So your 8-3 season last year, you graduate. This is nothing new. You graduate guys every time, right? Every single year you got to reload a little bit. But Kyle Bernard, you know, a force in the running game, obviously. Pat Drews, your left tackle and outside linebacker. And then Kevin Kirby, I thought, was an underrated guy. It just seemed like when a big play happened, a lot of times Kevin was in the middle of all that. you graduate 3 pretty darn good football players, among others, from last year's team.
Yeah, and every year you do.
Right.
You lose the kids like Brad Otterbein
Right.
to Mike Blanchard to Sean Huey, and each year the young kids coming in, they're going to step in and fill those roles. Our juniors will become the seniors, and next year we'll do the same thing. It's part of the process.
I'm going to ask you now about your quarterback, who I'm very close with, Martin Peterson. He's a co-host of this radio program, but he came in and hadn't played a lot of middle school football, and you brought him under your wing as a freshman and brought him along, and my gosh, it doesn't seem possible that he's entering his senior year, does it?
No, I know. Watching him come in his freshman year, and if he's listening right now, his very first day, brought him in for Hornet Power, which is our conditioning program in the morning, and he got there a little bit late. We tell the kids it's open from 8 to 9:30 with the idea that you get there at 8, and you have until 9:30 to finish your workout. Well, he rolled in about 9 o'clock on his first day, and was thinking, oh, it's kind of just an open, go do your own thing. Well, that first day, Coach Kirby takes him down to the wrestling room, puts him through some conditioning drills on his own, and from where Martin was to where he is now, it's been huge strides, and he's done a great job. I'm very proud of him.
I have a feeling Coach Kirby could set the tone pretty well.
Absolutely. You'll have to ask Martin about his somersaults.
Yeah, I bet Martin was on time for Hornet Power after that. It's just a hunch that I have. How's he matured as a quarterback? I mean, obviously that's a position that takes a lot of time, especially with the system that you run in terms of the reads and being able to kind of see what the defense is doing. How's he matured as a quarterback for your Hornet football team?
He's able to see more things of the field. He gets his pre-reads. Once he gets the snap, he knows where his eyes are supposed to be, and he's able to either throw the ball where it needs to, pitch the ball, hand off. It just depends on what his read's going to be. But when he was younger, we made it just a single read for him, whether it was a pass or whether option. And now we progressed where he can read 2 or 3 deep. So he's progressed a lot that way. But probably more importantly, his leadership has really improved. As a sophomore trying to lead the team, that's tough. That's a real hard thing to do. And last year with kids like Pat Drews and Kevin and Bernie, all those guys are such good, strong leaders that Martin, it was tough to step up. But this year I've been real impressed with what he's doing and how he's taking on the leadership role.
What about the running game? Obviously, Bernie's gone, but you have some pretty capable kids taking his spot.
Yeah, DJ's back this year. I think he had about 600-700 yards last year rushing. Ridge Morris, who actually runs the ball extremely well last year, and he'll be in the backfield. And then we have Trevor Kornak coming up from the JVs. Been very impressed with him. Tommy Lawhorn's going to play some slot and do a little running back for us too. So we're fairly deep at the running back position.
I liked me some Lawhorn last year. I was impressed with that kid. It seemed like when he got an opportunity, and that's part of high school sports. Maybe you don't start right at the beginning of the year. You keep grinding away, and when coach calls your number, you make plays. You're going to get more opportunities, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Tommy stepping in, he's not the biggest kid on the field, not the fastest, but, boy, he works hard. He'd be a kid anybody or any coach would want to have on their team. So very proud of him for what he's done on defense, and this year he's going to see a lot more time on the offense.
Having a Pat Drews as one of your offensive tackles helps coaches sleep at night a lot better, protecting the quarterback's blind side and all the rest of it. It's an incredibly important position. How did you reshuffle that offensive line with some new blood with Pat out?
I was thinking about that on the way over, that, Kirk Putnam's been coaching here since 1991, I believe, and I moved here in 92. So Kirk's been working with the offense-defense line. Sean McCavitt has been with us for 20-some years also. So, I've got real experienced coaches, but we have to get through to our kids what we're trying to accomplish. It's not what the coaches know, it's what the kids are going to know. So we got some young kids up on the line, a lot of juniors up there. Our only returning starter on the line is Zach Sleet, who's moved over from guard to center. And then we're filling in with some of the younger kids. It's a learning process. We've slowed a little bit down on the line, simplified some of their things, but they're getting there.
The spread offense, obviously, you've spoken at clinics about it. It's something that you've run for a long time. I think people think that, especially people who haven't watched your team, that you just sling it around and throw it every single down. And it's not true. The running game is a huge part of what you do. So your linemen, not only do they have to be able to pass block, obviously, but run blocking is a big part of it too. What do you think is tougher for the young guys to get the handle on, the run side of it or the pass blocking scheme?
Right now, the run blocking. That's what's bothering us. We do a lot of zone type blocking, and trying to reach and overtake has been kind of tough for our young kids. But they're getting there. So, like I said, we simplified some things for them, and hopefully they'll catch on to it before before too long.
You had short receivers last year. It's no disrespect to them. As a short man, I can empathize. But your receivers were you didn't have a lot of 6'3" guys on the outside running wide receiver. Well, now you do with the Condor there, Ben Baxter. He's a guy that has never really played organized football, too. And he's going to be a senior, right?
That's right.
Have you ever had a kid that came out as a senior who had never played before, and how has he been coming along for you?
Yeah, we've had a few of those in the past. Ben does a great job. I tell him for the plays where he's in there, box out, go up and get the football. Try to put some basketball analogy for him, and that's what he's done. He's done a great job with that. So, some of the stuff that you take for granted that the kids know after playing 4 years of football, he's still learning. But I think he's done a really nice job.
And not to give Jonesville any advanced warning, but they can watch film, and so I don't think we're giving them too much of a break. But he could be a guy that could be a threat in the red zone, I would think, maybe when you get closer to the goal line.
Yeah, that's one of the packages we have in with his height. And like I said, he's a big body, too. So able to use his length, use his body to box out, Martin throw it up in the corner and go get it.
Defensively, obviously, the guys that we've already mentioned were key on that side as well. Patrick, I loved watching him play outside linebacker. I mean, just a physical, fast guy who loved to play the game and right on down through. Talk a little bit how your defense sized up at the scrimmage and what you're looking to improve on as you get ready for Jonesville.
I thought our defense played pretty well. Okay. They were further ahead than what our offense is at right now, but we have a lot of returning starters on the defense side of the ball. So while Patrick and Kevin are going to be gone, we have Bryce Bife is stepping in. And he's basically playing Pat's role. He's playing tackle and that outside linebacker position and doing a great job. Colin Munsell might be one of our most improved kids. He's playing the other outside linebacker, and he'll play some tight end and play some slot for us too. So, defensively, we have to be able to adjust to what the offense wants to do, whether they want to spread it out, whether they want to try and run power football at you. And we got a few big boys on the inside too. Zach Sleets, plays center for us, but he'll get some time in the O-line. And it's going to be a situation. We have good numbers this year, probably 32 on the varsity. We're going to be able to run bodies out there. So running every 4 plays, 4 new defensive linemen out there.
Sounds good. Hornet football coming up Friday night against Jonesville. That's a series that you pushed for. You wanted that local kind of crosstown series. And, I think it's great for our county. I think to have that as a kickoff game every year is outstanding, and I know you do too.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things here in Hillsdale, when we were in some of the leagues we played in, traveling up to Leslie and Stockbridge, and we went to Saginaw Valley, played Whitmore Prescott, we played Muskegon Catholic, playing local games, there's something to that. You know the guys on the other side. A lot of them are related to each other. It's good for the community. It's good for the kids. And it's something that both sides can get excited about.
I wonder about your system because you've had this spread system. I don't know what you call it, but the laymen call it just a spread offensive system for a while. You have your principles. Have those changed over the years? Do you continue to evolve with that year in and year out, or do you basically hang on to a kind of a core set of principles with that offense?
We have developed it. We run a lot more two-back set. We've incorporated a tight end to what we do right now. We used to, when we first got started, with no tight end, single back or empty, with 2x2, 2 receivers on each side, or 3 receivers on one side, 1 on the other. And we've evolved to where we can run a little power football, run a little more inside trap, run some outside zone stuff. And each year you have to look at the kids you have and where are your strengths, and then adopt your offense to that within the framework of what you want to do.
Obviously, it's no secret that Jonesville is not going to have their full squad for Friday night, so they're a little bit shorthanded. Obviously, you had a chance to take a look at their scrimmage, and I've known Joe forever. I think he's a good football coach, and that's a program that I think is on the rise. As far as the game that you have, though, Friday night, what are you looking for in terms of a couple of keys that you have to take care of and be sound on your point to win that football game?
They're big and physical up front. They got a lot of big kids, and that's going to be a challenge for us. Yes, I know I've heard the same stories about, some kids aren't playing, but they have kids that are showing up to play and practice every day, and they're going to come out because it's a local game, and they're going to play hard. It is going to be a physical game, and I expect a close game. So I don't look at it like, they're missing. No, I look at it like we have to get ourselves ready. But like I've always said, our focus is on Hillsdale. It's not on Jonesville. We have to make a game plan for Jonesville, but within ourselves.
Do you see that new players, when you come into the first game of the season, maybe even some of the guys that are returning, is the first game different from the other 8 in terms of nerves, in terms of, flipping that switch in terms of playing competitive football again? And how do you get the guys ready to go for the very first game of the year?
That's tough. It is. The first time you go out there, you're not really sure. Are the running backs going to hang on the ball? They've been doing it in practice. They did it in the scrimmage. Are we going to sustain our blocks? Are the quarterbacks going to make the right reads? Are they going to try to make too big of a play? If they just play within themselves, play their roles, we'll be okay.
Looking forward to the first football game of the year, 7 o'clock, Baumgarten Stadium at Hillsdale High School. Bob Flynn and Scott Phillips will have the call for you right here on WCSR. Hillsdale, Jonesville. I guess, listening to Bob the other day, this is the first time that Jonesville has ever played at Hillsdale High School. I can't believe that.
I think that's correct.
Isn't that something?
That is, and I'd like to keep this thing going for several more years, actually, until I'm done coaching, and let this be a long-term thing. I think this would be great for both sides.
It's exciting to have the season getting ready to start. We're going to take a quick break back at the studio with Bob. Coach brought a few of the guys in, and we'll meet them and talk a little football with some of the Hornet players right after this timeout on the Timeout Show. Bob, they say that it's not a good look to wear socks with sandals, but ain't nobody going to tell that to Zach Sleet. I'll tell you that right now. I will tell you that right now. Zach, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's good to have you on the program. You're a big, strong dude, and you're ready to play some football, I can tell.
Oh, I'm very ready.
Yep. He actually, the other kids were having a drink over there, and Zach just sat down and ate a bowl of nails. It was really wild to watch. But, Zach, the bottom line is you're the only returning starter, right, from this offensive line, and they've bumped you over to center, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what was your reaction when Coach talked to you and said, hey, we're thinking about moving you over to center?
Well, I just told him that anything he needs me to do to win, for our team to win, then I'll do it.
I was going to talk to Coach about this, but since I have you here, I would not want to be the center on your team because I think it's a huge responsibility in terms of you've got to do that shotgun snap every single time where Martin can catch it in a place where he's comfortable catching the football. How have you gotten better at delivering that snap every single time?
I've just been practicing every single day. I work with Coach Kirby in the summer, and he critiqued me very hard. and now we're just trying to put it together into a whole team package.
Coach Kirby gave you some feedback about your snaps?
Yes, a lot.
Did he? Okay, I can imagine. Zach, you've got to snap the football. That's your number one thing. You got to get the snap right on point, and then you got to be ready to block right after that. Has that been a tough transition for you?
Not very. Okay. I played it sophomore year, and then last year I was backup center also.
Okay. So you knew coming into this year over the summer you're going to be doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. What about being the only returning starter on this offensive line? How are the young kids coming along, and how have you tried to help them get up to speed?
Oh, they're coming along great. They're working hard every day in practice, and they're trying to get the schemes down. And I'm just trying to, me and all the other senior linemen are just trying to set a good example for the young guys coming up. We got some really young guys, some sophomores trying to come up and play too, but they're doing a great job also.
Has DJ ever come from behind you and just smacked right into your back?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. I figured that was a possibility. DJ runs like a train, and we're going to talk to him in just a second. But before we let you go, Zach, obviously you've got the first game of the season this weekend against Jonesville, and I love the dynamic of this game. Not only is it great for the fans and the community, but you know those guys. I bet you know a lot of the Jonesville kids. Do you get extra fired up to take on those guys?
Oh, yeah, I do know some of them, and this is going to be a great game. I know they're going to come out hard, and we just got to come out harder, and we got to play harder than them and hit harder, and that's just going to be really exciting.
Now, do you rotate in at D-tackle, or are you exclusively on offense?
I'll be playing some D-tackle. Like Coach Lem said, we got that rotation, 4 guys in, 4 guys out, right. So we're going to be trying to do that.
Yeah, I can't see a scenario where you wouldn't be rotating in a defensive tackle.
Well,
that's got to be pretty fun, right?
Oh, yeah. Just fire off and hit somebody. That's the best.
Less to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Zach. Have a great season. DJ, come on over. DJ Jones playing last year with Bernie. You guys were a heck of a 1-2 punch.
Oh, yeah. I loved them. We're like brothers, so we had each other's back. And, we got the job done.
Do you have a similar role this year? Are you playing the same spot and everything?
Pretty much. We can move each other around like our other running backs. We can play every position, so pretty much the same.
So offensively, we were talking to Coach Lem just a minute ago, but is it basically for you the same system, and are you really comfortable with what you have to do?
Yeah, I don't have to think about it. I can just play now.
What What I like about your game, DJ, and I've watched you for a while now, sometimes I'll see you hit the hole and you'll get through the first level and you'll have an opportunity to put a move on a guy or just run him the heck over. And sometimes you choose to just run the guy right over, don't you?
Yeah.
I've seen you do that a couple of times. What's fun about that?
Just hitting the dude. I mean, it's one-on-one, and, you know, I got, you know, how many every, you know, yards. So just next play.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking to Coach a minute ago about Lumen Christie, and you're a big part of the game plan for that one. Obviously, you're disappointed that you lost the game, but how fun was it for you guys to be up there in front of maybe a couple of thousand football fans playing in the state playoffs?
It was fun. I wish we could have, you know, done more, but it was really fun playing against Kari, and the team was amazing, you know. But we held up, so I mean, it's upsetting that we didn't beat them, but you know, we're back this year. Right.
For sure. I hope you guys have a big year. Thanks for your time, DJ. Tommy Lawhorn, great football name, and a good young football player. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
You know, I was telling the guys a few minutes ago, whenever I got to do a couple Hornet games on the radio last year, and whenever I saw you play, it just seemed like when your number got called, you made big plays, and it looked like you were having fun out there.
Yeah, I love to play football. I'll take every opportunity I can get to make a play and help my team out.
Talk about your role this year. You know, if you're getting a lot of time with Ridge and DJ in the backfield, where do you kind of come in and fit in?
Well, if one of them gets tired, I know DJ is a big part of our offense, as Ridge is too. And one of them gets tired, I know I can fill in there and I can help move the ball. And so I'm just willing to help out anywhere I can.
What do you say to guys that say, you know, I mean, you're about my size, you're not a huge dude or anything like that, and some people might look at you and say, well, he's pretty small to play football. Obviously, you love the game and you're a heck of a good football player. It's really not about the physical stature, is it?
No. My dad always told me is that dynamite comes in small packages. So I'm a small guy, but I pride myself on working hard. I'm pretty strong for my size, and I don't let big guys like DJ or Sleet take advantage of me. I'll put them down if it comes to that.
It just got real here at the Downtown Underground. Oh, my goodness. Sleet does not look intimidated at all, by the way. I can tell you that. Tommy, do you work on the defensive side of the ball, too?
Yeah, I started last year as a junior playing corner, and I'm back playing corner this year. So that's where I primarily play is defense, and I love it.
Are you guys afraid of Coach Kirby, or is it just a mutual respect?
Oh, I'm afraid of him. He's a pretty scary guy. He gets pretty intense. I mean, if you were out there, you'd see it. He comes at you with a demeanor like he's going to take your head off, and you can feel that presence like he's going to come after you.
I like those kinds of coaches, though, because they do hold players accountable, right? I mean, you know that you've got to take care of your assignment or you're going to hear about it.
Yeah, he gets me fired up. I know if I'm like feeling lethargic or if I'm feeling a little sluggish, I know I can count on him to get me fired up and get the rest of our team going.
Baumgarten Stadium, where you guys play your home games, I think it's a great facility, obviously, with the new track around the football field, and a full set of bleachers makes it fun, too. You're going to have a huge crowd Friday night, and, you know, you guys have been working on this since early in August. Really all summer you've been working on it. How gratifying is it, though, the first Friday night when you guys get to just suit up and play football in front of a big crowd? It's got to feel amazing, right?
Yeah, we're all ready. We've all prepared for this all summer. We're all ready to play. We're all going to go out there and show everyone what we got. So.
Okay. Reed Baker, come on over here, one of the wide receivers. I wasn't picking on you earlier when I said you weren't super tall, but, I mean, nobody's going to confuse you for Calvin Johnson, and, you know, that's okay, because you're an effective receiver nonetheless. How are you at your size able to get separation and make plays?
Really, you just have to be quick and be a little savvy, you know. You don't have the size, so, you know, nice hard cuts, clean routes, and, you know, just getting the job done other ways.
How important is it for you to develop chemistry with MP? I mean, obviously, with him putting the ball on time in the right place so that you can get the yards after the catch, how hard is that to develop that kind of chemistry?
Oh, yeah. Me and Martin have been throwing together for several years now, so we have pretty good. And then we have certain routes where, you know, we just know he knows exactly where to put it, and, you know, I know where it's going to be. So, you know, we've built that a good, nice little, you know, mutual bond.
When I was running offense at Camden Frontier, it was a very simple offense in terms of what the quarterback had to do and the receivers had to do. You guys, it's a little bit more complicated. I don't want you to give away the whole secret of the game plan or anything like that, but the quarterback and the receivers actually have to read the defense, right?
Right. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we, on who to block, blocking's huge. It gets the run game going for sure. And, our Coach Kiesel always says you got to block to get the rock. So,
got to block to get the rock.
Yeah.
That's right. So when you go out there and let's say you're having a game where you're not getting a lot of catches and the ball's not really coming your way and the coverage is really tough, I wonder how you receivers stay in the game by the third or fourth quarter, because you still have to be at the right place. You could still make a play that could win the game even later on. How do you stay in the game mentally if the ball's just not coming your way?
You just know you're doing your team, good blocking. You stay focused all the way through. Especially in big games, it's a lot easier, because you want to be that guy to step up and make a big play in the fourth quarter.
Ben Baxter is going to be in a couple of the packages anyway, and I guess I've asked this a couple of times, but I'm fascinated by this concept of starting out at, you guys play high-level football, state championship quality, every year in the playoff expectation football. This is no small program he's trying to join this late in his high school career. As a fellow wide receiver, do you kind of empathize with what he's going through, and how has his progress been as the spring and summer have gone along?
Oh, I think he's doing a great job. He's not beating down on himself like a lot of people might, because it is hard and everything's coming at you so fast. And he's just done a great job with it. I've been impressed. He's got great hands, and I really wasn't expecting that for when he first came in. So I'm really impressed. He's doing a great job.
If you're looking for Reed Baker, you'll find him in the end zone this fall for the Hornets. Thank you, brother. Good luck to you this season. Coach, come on back up here for 1 second, and we'll let you guys go. First of all, it's got to be fun to coach kids like these.
Oh, yeah. We've got, I think, 18 seniors, 13 juniors out, a couple sophomores. So it's a lot of fun to coach kids like this. It makes my job a lot easier, I look a lot smarter when you got kids like this.
Jonesville coming up Friday night. Obviously, that's the start of the season. As you look at your league, and I'll kind of leave it off with this. As you look at the league, people were talking to me about the Chargers. Hillsdale College was rated by the, they do the preseason rankings. They were rated at the very bottom. And I know that Otter doesn't care about that. What you are rated in the preseason doesn't really make a huge difference. So understanding that, when you look at this schedule that you have, when you look at the league year in front of you, who are some teams that you really got to look out for in terms of a league championship possibility?
Well, for a league championship, obviously Hudson's there every year. Ida's going to be very solid. They returned a lot of players last year. They only had 2 losses in the league. And the team that might surprise everyone this year, I think, is going to be Dundee.
Okay.
They got a new coach coming over from Monroe Catholic Central. He's going to install that wing T full house system that they run at CC One State Championship with, and they've got some athletes over there. So I think those 3 teams are ones to look out for.
Coach Lemerand and all of your guys, we wish you all the best this year. I think you make our community and your school really proud. Good luck to you this year.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it.
Marc Lemerand and the Hornet football team, Friday night, 7 o'clock kick at Baumgarten Stadium at the campus of Hillsdale High School. Go check out the football game. Should be a good one between Hillsdale and the Jonesville Comets. We'll take a break and come back with much more of the Timeout Show right after this on WCSR. We're broadcasting live from the Broad Street Downtown Market Underground, where they've got some great specials tonight. Stop by, 50-cent wings. You love chicken wings? Stop down to the Downtown Underground. They've got nachos for $2.50, fresh corn tortillas covered in cheddar cheese, and jalapenos for no extra charge, and also chips and salsa for $2 tonight, live at the Downtown Underground. Andy Brown with you on the Timeout Show. And you just heard it. I mean, Coach Lemerand and the kids are focused. They know that they've got a job to do against a big, physical, tough Jonesville High School football team. Should be a good one, and Bob and Scotty will have it for you coming up on Friday night from Hillsdale High School. Scott Phillips, I hate to interrupt you, but come on over here for a second. One of the voices of Hillsdale Hornet football, and obviously you've been a guy who's watched these 14 consecutive playoff runs. And, the amazing thing about that, Scott, is so many teams struggle to even just get in once or twice. It's a battle every year. And for Coach to have done that for 14 straight seasons, that's a heck of a football program.
It tells a lot about Mark and and the kids buy into him. Right. When they come into school and they want to play football, Mark somehow has that magical touch with them and gets them in the weight room and just makes them love the game. And the camaraderie there, you can see that. They do that Battle Creek thing every year, and the team gets together. And you've also got the greatest group of kids the kids that don't fit in, they're out. but the rest of them are there. You can tell it on the football field, the way they handle themselves, the way everything happens. But 14 years in a row, that's incredible. How many before that? Once in the last?
Well, I know. The thing that amazes me about it, too, as we talked to Scott Phillips, one of the voices of Hornet football that you'll hear Friday night, is you lose guys like an Otterbein or a Blanchard, or you lose a guy like Patrick Drews, and you think, well, my Lord, you can't recover from losing that guy. He does. He finds a way with the group that he has every single year to have a winning season and get in the playoffs. It's just amazing.
It is. It's year after year after year. And you almost go, Bob and I almost go into anxiety after basketball season, after football season. My God, this guy's gone. This guy, the running back's gone. How are we going to do it? But last year I watched a couple of the JV games, and really that was not much of an issue because that JV team last year was pretty strong and big, and you had a lot of these guys coming up, and it was just, I don't know, it made you feel a little better about this year, but you got Martin Peterson, you got the rest of them. I mean, what a great group of kids. And
just talking to him tonight, I mean, the 4 seniors that he brought in, not giving me one-word answers, looking me right in the eye and talking to me and having a conversation with me. I tell you, you can learn a lot about a group of kids just by how they will answer a question and actually give you something interesting to think about. And I was really impressed with the 4 kids that he brought in tonight. Forget about Martin and Ben Baxter. You can't even get a word in edgewise with those guys. But
that's true.
But the bottom line is it's a great group of kids, and they're going to have a lot of success. One thing I didn't realize, though, you're looking at who is the big guy? Sleet.
Yeah,
Zach Sleet, who we just talked with. The only returning starter on that offensive line. Now, I didn't realize the line was going to be that young. We talked to Coach Lemerand about this a little bit, but if you're looking for a point of concern as a fan, you might say, well, this line is going to be really, really young.
Yep, but they had, watching that JV team a little bit last year, they had some big kids on that team, and they're all going to be up there. And you get them with Mark, and he's gonna teach them, and that's what he does every single year, or we wouldn't have the program we have.
What about Martin Peterson as you're in the broadcast booth each and every weekend? And, this is a kid who we talked about before, didn't play football when he was younger. He never played until his freshman year, 1 year of JV, and then, boom, sophomore year, you're the varsity quarterback of the Hillsdale Hornets trying to make a playoff run. How have you seen him grow and mature through 3 years, and what do you expect from him for his senior year?
Oh, I think he's going to have a phenomenal year. And besides that, talking Ben Baxter into playing, here we got a 6'5" wide receiver now. What a target, and Ben's got some good hands. You've seen him on the basketball court all these years. And Martin, the first thing I think of when I think of MP is that great big smile of his. And he's happy to be there. He's you can tell he's learned every inch of the way. Every time he's on that field, he gets better. And to watch him at the end of the year last year, that was fantastic because you knew he was in it for the long run. He's a smart kid, and you get back to where these kids you talked to had questions for you or answered them and not one word. That's what Mark wants to get across. He's always had great GPAs on his football team. And you look at Hillsdale College. These guys aren't the hugest kids in the world, but they are so smart. They know every play. They know where to be, and that helps them win games. So it's just the whole package.
Hornet football Friday night. Bob Flynn and Scott Phillips with a call from Hillsdale High School. Hillsdale taking on Jonesville. I'll talk to you more about that game in just a second, but one more question about the team itself. You have a DJ Loy back. Who's just a stinking load to try to deal with out there. And pairing him last year with Bernie, Kyle Bernard, who was incredibly fast on the outside. You sleep better at night, though, when you have a Ridge Morris coming in who played a lot last year, a Tommy Lawhorn, too, who's a quality backup. I mean, they have enough bodies in that backfield where they're going to be a threat to run the football again this year.
Oh, they are, and what a combination. You get DJ Jones out there running around. This kid is so well built. If you could see him without a football uniform on, just in a T-shirt like you just saw him right now, that kid's gotten bigger and bigger and stronger. He is in my opinion, a Division I football running back built the way he is right now. And at the end of the year, like the kids you were just talking about, the Ridge Morrises, came in to fill in. They come in and play a lot because Hillsdale builds big leads a lot. So these kids get to come in and play quite a bit. But you watch them run the ball last year. That's pretty impressive for backups, both of them.
Yeah, that's really well put. I was a little nervous about Pat moving on. Obviously, Patrick Drew's dominating on both sides of the football. He's down at the University of Indianapolis playing football. You think about all of the kids that leave this program and go on to play at the next level. You've got it going on right now with Andrew Wilcox at Hillsdale College and others, and then Kyle Bernard as well. And then you've got down at University of Indianapolis, and I hope Indy wins every single game when they're not playing Hillsdale College as far as that goes. But, you know, the number of kids through the years that Mark has sent on to the college level is pretty impressive.
Oh, it is. And the Hillsdale College, the GLIAC, I mean, just that is a strong Division II program. Look at Grand Valley's won national titles. How many years that they've won that? And Hillsdale can compete with that. I mean, that's saying an awful lot. We'd sure like to see one or two get the Division I ball. You know, we had a couple of those back when I was playing, you know, the Rezegi and the Heppenstall. They went to the University of Toledo and both started. But we had a lot of kids go on to play. But I have not seen, in this last 14 years, there has been so many that have moved on, and it's because of Mark, because those kids buy into his program and want to succeed and want to go on. And you watch these little freshmen that are this big come in, weigh 100 pounds, and when they leave high school football, it's just unbelievable, the difference, the build, everything.
There's two parts about it, and you make so many good points, Scotty. The first part is that you actually are recruited and people are interested in you and you can get on a roster. The second part is you stay on that roster and stay on it for 4 years and become a productive player. And you see that with Mark's guys. They're not just playing for a couple of practices and then saying, you know what, I can't hack it. They're going in and they're making contributions on these college football teams, and I just think it's incredible. Friday night, Hillsdale-Jonesville, as somebody with as much background with Hillsdale High School sports as anybody I know, how cool is it to have this series with the Comets to start off the season every year?
Well, I think it's really cool. I mean, it depends on the outcome, of course, and what the difference is. And I know there's a couple problems there for the game Friday night, but we won't get into that part. You'll see it on the field. It's going to be competitive no matter what. And to have it that close, a lot of people, what I've been hearing is it's either great or we shouldn't be doing this. You know, there's no really in between. And I think after this one, I don't know if we're lined up to play them again. I really don't. I don't think we are. But we've played them twice now, and the third one's coming up Friday night, and that should be packed. I mean, I hope, with 5 miles away, I hope that place is packed, because that's what makes high school football on a Friday night. And just everybody come out to it. Bring your radio if you need to.
I think Mark said they were going to try to keep the series going, right? So hopefully it'll be something that goes on into the future, and I think that would be excellent. I honestly, as somebody who follows local sports pretty carefully, I honestly don't get the argument for not wanting Hillsdale and Jonesville to play, especially when you look at some of the road trips that Hillsdale has to take during the course of the year, and you want to bus up to the UP or something just to get your 9th game. It's serious. I mean, it's hard to find games anymore. And you've got a team that's about your size just up the road 5 or 6 miles. To me, it's a natural in so many ways. You and Bob and your style of broadcast that you guys run, I mean, it's just a blitzkrieg. So much energy, so much passion. Have either one of you ever fallen out physically of the broadcast booth?
Maybe holding the hand over the microphone, yelling at a ref. Man, you know, I was real close a whole bunch of times, but you know, this team is so exciting, and that kind of offense that he runs is so great. It's just so much fun for Bob and I over the years, and hopefully I can do it for many, many more years, because it is just hilarious.
You know, I listen to a lot of sports and follow sports broadcasting, and the way that you guys do a game is unlike anybody else I've ever heard. There's really no play-by-play guy or color guy. It's both of you just into it and watching the game. No, but it's what I love about it is it's like a couple of fans really talking in an intelligent way about the game and letting everybody know what happens, and what results is a really exciting broadcast. And you can hear the game Friday night coming up. My brother-in-law wanted to remind me, and I'm glad he did this, about Joe Phillip, because Joe Phillip is an excellent soccer player. Obviously, we all know that. His dad's the coach of the soccer team. They lend him to the Hornet football team to kick, and it's no small thing that they let him do that because he's a heck of a player in his role, isn't he?
And, you know, to talk to that young man, it's just uplifting. The kid is always happy. He's as smart as can be, and he's got athletic talent that he doesn't know he has yet. Right. For him to come out and play basketball every day like he did last year, I mean, the kid just has got it together, and it's so much fun. We talk about him a lot because a kicker for a football team is as important as anybody. Right. And you watch that kid continually kick that ball into the end zone where the other team can't run it back. How huge is that? Right. To start a high school team at the 20, that doesn't happen very often. And he can do that consistently. And it's just a pleasure to watch a kid like that, as well as the rest of them.
The fact that these kids, like a Ben Baxter, who has never played until this year, like a Joe Phillip, who's an excellent soccer star, and all the rest of it, that they feel comfortable to want to be part of what they're doing with that football program. Again, I hate to brag too much about Mark, but I think he does a heck of a job. And you've got to set that culture where, you know what, you want to be part of this and you want to work hard and be a part of what we're doing, there's a place for you. Even if you're on the soccer team and you want to, whatever the case may be, it's just not that way everywhere you go.
No, it's not. And, you know, years ago when I played back at, that's why I'm such a Hornet fan. I mean, I've been a Hornet since I was born, you know. But the kicking thing, you never would have thought about that. We never had a soccer team back then. You never imagined anything like that would happen. And then all of a sudden they started to kick the ball out the side of their foot. You know, what the heck is that? Because it was straight on when I was kicking. You know, there's no doubt about that. But to have that opportunity, we've had some great ones, too, in the past, come over from playing soccer. And Joe's just another one in the line. But I wish more people could go down and talk to these young men because, like you said, your interviews with them, they just are intelligent. They will not just have a one answer, yes or no. It's an intelligent conversation, and I get that with almost every one of those kids that I talk to over the years. It's just phenomenal.
Looking forward to the broadcast Friday night, Hillsdale and Jonesville, live from Hillsdale High School. Bob Flynn and Scott Phillips with the call on 92.1 FM. And we're looking forward to the broadcast coming up Friday night and the game. Scotty, thanks for filling in and talking a little Hornet football. Appreciate it.
No problem. Always glad to do that.
Get that tennis team whipped into shape too, all right?
Yeah, we're trying.
I know you are, buddy. Thank you, Scotty. Bob, we'll take one last break with you and come back and wrap it up. We're live at the Downtown Underground at the Broad Street Market. More of the show coming up right after this.